I'm really curious, when did Social Security come about?
Great question, Techie Tiger, and I love that you're thinking outside of the box because I would argue that these types of social programs are also a form of technology because they are an invention for us to make our lives better. They're also a tool. Yay! Thank you, Techie Tiger. So, great question. Okay, so we're gonna do a little time travel. Ta-da! That's our imaginary time machine, and we are gonna come back to oops, I picked a yellow color. That's gonna be a hard color to see. Okay, we are gonna time travel back to January 1935. It cold and you lose your job. What do you do? Well, to be honest, you're kind of shit out of luck. There is no unemployment benefits. There are not really any social programs or safety net that you can apply for. Maybe you can get connected with a charity, or maybe you happen to be lucky enough to know somebody who has a little bit of extra cash that can help you get back on your feet or can help you in that interim time when you're looking for a job. But unless you have the fortune to have had a job where you made a lot of money and had a decent amount of savings, uh, there are no benefits for you in January 1935. Imagine you are somebody who wants to retire. You are also shit out of luck. There is no retirement plan. Your company had one, but they went out of business. So all of the money that you put into their pension plan, poof, gone. If you're a veteran, you might actually be a little bit luckier because there is a very limited kind of early form of social security that you and or your if you happen to be a dead veteran in 1935, your widow and or your children could get access to that money. But that's pretty much it. So for everybody else facing difficult circumstances, and let's be real, most of us have to deal with those types of situations at some point in our life. We are all going to get old, and at some point we are all not going to be able to work anymore. And I'm pretty sure a lot of us are like, I put in my time, I want to go like flounce around and have fun and be silly. Well, good luck. Not a lot of options. Maybe you could find a poorhouse, but the conditions are pretty bad, and they are soups full because they are very underfunded, and you're probably only going to be eating really bad soup. Okay, so not a very good outlook, right? Oh, and remember, in 1935, it's very unlikely that you're going to find a new job because we're in the midst of the Great Depression. Fun! Millions of people are unemployed. There's huge long lines at soup kitchens. People are totally fucked. So, what happens? Well, we had this rad president, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and in August of 1935, he signed the New Deal. Da 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 da. The New Deal. Da 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 da. With lots of fanfare because it created the first broad scale social safety net for Americans. Now, the concept of the government taking care of its most vulnerable citizens was not a new concept. This has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. For example, England passed some laws in the early 1700s. My dog is laying at my feet being really silly and cute, so I'm a little distracted by him. But they passed laws called the Poor Laws, which established poorhouses and some funding for government assistance. But the New Deal was a very broad and brilliant plan because it established not only unemployment benefits, but Social Security. Woo! What is Social Security? Well, a percentage of our payroll, so basically, if we make $100 in a month, let's say $5 of that amount each month goes into Social Security. It's basically a retirement account for us. And the money that we put in today, so I'm working, I make $100, I put $5 into that Social Security bucket. And then the folks who are currently retired are like, yay, thank you, I'm not working anymore. So I am going to take money out of that bank because I put it in when I was your age. So then I get to be older and I retire, and now the folks that are able to work allow me to survive and thrive because I contributed when I was working. And so now, therefore, I get to reap the benefits of my investment. So it's a really, really rad program where we pay in to support the folks who need it now, because we live in a society, and it's basically this like, okay, cool, I'm going to take care of you now, knowing that the next generation will take care of me. It is this agreement that we make with each other that it is much easier if we support each other and have these types of programs, work together, have community. It is much more effective as a society when we do these things than it is to be really selfish and hold on to things. And also, we have learned through eras like the Gilded Age that when we have policies or lack thereof based on selfishness and greed and this idea of individualism, that it actually hurts society as a whole. Because economic recessions, depressions, economic downturns, disasters are inevitable. Full stop. They are going to happen. And if we do not have some sort of social safety net, it can create a catastrophic collapse that is very, very, very difficult to recover from. The New Deal was really brilliant, and it is credited as one of the major reasons why we got out of the Depression. Also, World War II helped create new jobs, but this was really the starting point where the Great Depression started to turn around and people had opportunities. So now if you fast forward to January of 1936 and you lose your job, you actually have a little bit of leeway so you can have a chance to find a new job without, missing your rent payments, without missing your medication payments, without it risking getting put on the street. So that's where Social Security came from. Super fascinating. A couple of other things that I want to call out. Before we had these types of government programs, the wealth inequality, there was about 4,000 millionaires in the United States that owned 20% of America's wealth. And in the current day and age, the top 1% of the US population owns 30% of our wealth, which is up from 22% in 1989. So it's interesting to me, and the reason why I wanted to talk about the history of Social Security is because history has a tendency of repeating itself. And I tend to look at what's happening right now as an indication that, we could be doing better at supporting each other in society. And there are programs that have been or are being gutted, like Social Security, that we need to revitalize. And also we need to remember where they came from, because the why of these programs is really, really important. I hope that is helpful. Medicare, Medicaid are a different topic. Those were from 1965. I'm happy to dive into those as well, but I think that understanding the New Deal is one of the most important pieces of American history. I highly recommend you all to check out the history on Wikipedia, or history.com has some really, really great articles as well. So yay for learning! Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye!